I asked me to join two more ladies on the stage, and one of them is Evija Celma, who is the CEO of IT Education Foundation, and Laura Hildebrant, who is the head of global outreach and engagement for the UN SDG Action Campaign. So lately, I've visited a lot of conferences on digital parenting digital, and actually, it's really a hot topic, the hot potato. In every conference I am in about parenting, the digital issues are there as the first, and they get the most questions, and they are the most urgent ones. And experts, they're quite confused. They're telling how the reality could be or what it will be in 10 years, but no one is really sure what will going to happen. Mm-hmm. The previous discussion, someone mentioned that playing the video games was the big threat years ago, and we've seen the generation, we are here, we're still alive. We were addicted at the moment, but then we decided to climb a tree or, play football with the friends. So do you have any predictions? What are going to happen? Social networks are here. The parents are really, desperate about what to do, when to give, the gadgets to their children, age of 1, age of 3, age of 7, age of 18. What are your ideas on this?
I think that parents should understand that they also, the same way as kids, should learn about technologies. So they can understand and explain their kids what are technologies and how can they be used for good or for evil. The same way as in schools, teachers, this is what we do in our foundation. We work a lot with the teachers because, as everyone says, technology breakout has been so quick and so fast that no one has been able to follow in education institutions. There are programming teachers who don't know the subjects that in technology companies everyone is working with. And I'm not even talking with ordinary teachers. Mm-hmm. So it's educating everyone about what is technologies and that it's not scary, like breaking the stereotypes and doing such things.
Okay, talking about education, I think it's far behind technology right now. So should we, put some new subjects in curriculum? We're learning so many things, but when I studied, we had computer learning at school.
Oh, informatics.
Informatics, yes. Has it changed?
Well, I think in every country it's different, but in Latvia, we are going to have, as of next September, we're going to have
I think a round of applause for that. That's amazing. Yeah. So good.
That's definitely amazing. We're going to have from first to third grade integrated computer science, so it really depends on the teachers how well they will know computer science. And then from the third grade to seventh grade is going to be visual programming already, and starting from 8th grade it's going to be textual programming, and on high school level it's going to be already like deep learning programming subjects. Yeah, we have learned a lot from from Finland. Sorry.
Laura, what do you think? Should we, what should we put in curriculum? Is it, how to track the fake news or programming? What should we put? Because I think one thing, you learn how to program, you know how to, where the advertisements come from on your Facebook, but it's a whole new etiquette you need to know. Even I, as a journalist who works with all this media, sometimes I'm confused. What should we put in curriculum for children, in your opinion?
Well, we're definitely in the Wild West in some respects. A few weeks ago, I was on a biodiversity panel with an epidemiologist, and we were talking about some of these issues. And he said, the trials we have to go through in the drug world to introduce something to market are extensive. They take 12 years. But in the tech world, we're releasing all over the place all these new technologies, which are preached and proselytized by the developers, and it's very exciting because all of the positive impacts that they preach are there. But we've seen, I think somebody said earlier, the honeymoon period is over. We're seeing also some very serious negative impacts of those. Of the introduction of those technologies and dramatically altering our political landscape as we know it. And so it's a huge question. How do we translate that into education? Well, I think certainly a level of comfort with technology is important, and you know, my kids are using smartphones in their classrooms now, which I'm a little bit uneasy about in primary school, because all of us are spending too much time on our devices. But I think taking a couple steps back from the technology angle is thinking about the bigger picture and the values that we have as a society. And I love the concept of this utopian future. We need to imagine the future that we want. And I think I'll use that as a way to talk about the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We're all here aligned with these Sustainable Development Goals. Many people don't really know what they are yet, but they're a plan that was developed starting in 2012 through the biggest consultation process ever undertaken on the planet, led by the United Nations, but also by governments, to talk to as many people as possible about defining a vision for the future. And right now, they're expressed through 17 quantifiable goals and 169 targets.
SDG 4 is education.
Yes, exactly. And there's an SDG number 4, quality education, and it helps to identify some of these values that we need to put into education, such as equality, for instance, making sure that little girls and little boys have equal access to relevant education for their future. And that's one of the themes here. But I think that the bigger picture then is how to take those goals, which are data-driven, but they don't necessarily create that utopian vision. They're descriptive, but they don't capture the imagination. So I think that's gets to some of the issues that you described earlier about using fiction to create a positive image of the future. And I think that, so therefore the curriculum to introduce in that respect, I suppose, is some sense of belonging to a global community, helping children to understand that each of us has an impact on the planet, each of us has an impact on each other with our own behavior. This is something that's traditionally part of fiction, but that bigger picture, where do we stand in the world and what kind of world do we want?
I really liked Linda's presentation, and as you mentioned, the core is where it starts from, and you're looking for this beginning of things. But what would it first advice you would give parents? Because we talk about schools, about education, but I meet lots of desperate parents. I mean, interviewing on TV, I see that parents are confused. Maybe there is a website or there is some, steps that you would suggest them to do. Usually, experts give advice that you should also educate yourself and follow and watch together things with the children. You should watch YouTube together, talk about it as it's part of your lives. What are your suggestions for those parents who are confused what to do?
So I think I wish there was an easy answer. I wish there was something like 12 minutes a day and so forth, like screen time. But I think anyone who tries to give a really prescriptive answer is going wrong. And I would say the exact same thing that applies for the children. Curiosity, fearlessness, and wonder should be kind of the driving forces for the parent. And I'm trying to eat my own dog food because honestly, I didn't understand Fortnite at all. Like, why on earth this generation of kids is so obsessed with like a game that is about like just messing up, like basically dancing and killing one another on an island. And then I started to look into it, and there was this exciting thing that happened on Fortnite like 2 months ago or a month ago, where they have the island, and then there's events that happen on the island, and like all these millions or tens of millions of kids watch together as the island has a volcano that erupts and their world is shaking or whatnot. And now the latest event was that there was a black hole that appeared in the sky, and the whole game got sucked into that black hole, and it disappeared from the online world for 2 days. And as a parent, you probably just see your kid there being like and not answering your questions, and you don't realize that that was like their profound childhood moment just there, that with their like friends globally around the world, they saw their world being sucked into something, and they don't know what's going to happen, and they're going to debate that at the school ground. And if as a parent you're just saying your 52 minutes is up, you're missing so much of childhood wonder and childhood creativity and curiosity. And of course, as a parent, you need to put boundaries. Like, it's not that they can spend their whole days in front of the screens. They need to go to the forest and build their own Fortnites in there, or get inspired by the stories and make that's why I love the 100 languages of the child metaphor from Reggio Emilia, because when you think about Fortnite, you can have 100 ways of expressing your enthusiasm with the game, and the playing is only one form of that. But yeah, that would be my answer for the parents: fearlessness, curiosity, and wonder.
Yeah, I would definitely also suggest parents to pay attention to not only programming subjects as such, but to rest of the subjects in school, because it's very, very important that kids learn all the skills that school offers, or not offering at the moment, but in the future they will offer, because we don't know the future professions. So that's the hard thing at the moment. So we don't know if there's going to be programmers the way they are at the moment. I recently read that there is this profession called digital archaeologist, where they dig into old Minecraft game and search for the codes and find like wonders if there's something that they can use in nowadays games and stuff like that. So professions like these are appearing. So it's very important for kids to learn all the subjects. Well, I especially want to point out that mathematics should be learned, definitely. It's a problem a little bit in Latvia, because mathematics is still like taught in an old way, let's put it this way, so kids don't see it like
practical use of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's also very important to remake the subject, remake the way how we teach it. So, but definitely critical thinking, yeah, all the subjects are important at the moment.
I was actually to add the critical thinking, in my opinion, because Linda, you display or portray everything really in these nice colors and it's so beautiful and all that, but I think there is a really lack of the critical thinking, and not only among children, but among adults, and we can see it every day. So, I mean, where is the boundary? Where should we start to see this dark matter of internet? We want to give a hope today. I mean, the human touch and all this.
Yeah, maybe I can really quickly touch on that. I wonder about that every single day, because obviously as a grown-up I see the bad side of the internet as well. But I do think that this next generation, they already have so much fear, so much anger, so much frustration, that it's not my job to be optimistic or pessimistic, actually, because optimism and pessimism are kind of certainties, whereas hope, I love the word that you used, the word hope. Hope is something that has room in it, and hope can go into multiple different directions. So that's what I'm starting to think, that I'm trying to give the children hope about the future and technology.
I would just add, I think, there's almost an assumption that the amount of time kids are spending online is negative, that they're using it to do stupid, inane tasks. As a parent, you can really help to guide what they're doing, talk to them about it, try to build this sense of curiosity, and the internet can solve all of their questions, right? So, I mean, these days I sometimes just give my 8-year-old son my computer, now that he can write and read. He goes and explores, and I find out that he's looking at the pyramids of Giza on Maps view, and he's exploring his curiosity. And so I think that as parents, we also shouldn't be afraid of the tools. We should use the tools to empower our children to take their curiosity wherever they want.
I wanted to point out also that in education, probably in Finland you already are using a lot of tools to help teachers, like for instance with AI, with the help of AI to improve, the grading systems. So it's also very important to understand that these technologies can help education system to improve. It can help teachers to lessen the hours that they spend in technical jobs and improve more and give them time to prepare subjects in innovative ways. So yes, there's of course question about GDPR and how parents are reacting, but the communication between the teacher, technology creators, and the parents is very, very important, and which is very lacking at the moment.
And it's again knowing like what humans are good at and what computers are good at. So probably computers will be good at grading assessments or like school work, but they are not good at giving you motivation or supporting you if you feel bad or those kinds of guidances. And I do think that my country, like the single best thing we've created is a culture culture where teachers are highly respected and admired. And every country that doesn't have that culture needs to double down on teacher professional development and education. And it's how much we invest in our educational system is how much we're ready to be a forward-looking country.
Yes, I agree completely. Thank you. We have to end on this nice note and give a hope and also invite parents and teachers and use the technology to learn about Giza pyramids and also learn about, learn languages. And I liked that you mentioned, being on the same language or the same conversation, 4 billions watching the same video. Why not? Thank you for the conversation.